Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Ladies and gentlemen, if I were to tell you that I have a great investment for you and that within a year or less you would make 25% on that investment, what would you think? Now let's take it up a little bit. Let's say I told you that you make 50% on that investment. What would you think about that? Would you be excited? Be like, yeah, that's a great investment. What about 75% or 100%? Let's get back to that in a minute. But first, I want to tell you all that I will never leave a reply on one of your comments, giving you a phone number, or telling you to go ahead and click on this link so that you can make millions of dollars on Bitcoin or cryptos or anything like that. I received an email, and I hadn't received one for a while, from one of our community members saying that they received one of those replies. Please don't get scammed, ladies and gentlemen. I try to leave a small message on my pinned comments when I remember so that you know that I would not do that. If you want to know that it's me, myself, and I leaving you a reply, next to my name, there will be a check mark. All right, so please don't get scammed because I really don't want to see that happen. Well, getting back to my question, what if I were to tell you that if you made an investment today that within a year or less you'd make 25, 50, 75, even 100% returns? Well, get ready, ladies and gentlemen, because things are about to get a lot more expensive. Oil and energy is going to become very expensive because the powers that be want to get rid of fossil fuels. And unless you live under a rock, you would understand that fossil fuel runs an economy. That fossil fuels is what feeds you. It's what feeds everyone. And that without it, we're not going to have enough food to feed people around the planet. Now, I was going through an article, and I actually saw this video that Mr. George Gammon put out yesterday. And I want you to hear it from someone other than myself, just in case I'm the one that's put this message out. That when fossil fuels get reduced, there's going to be a reduction in the number of living people on the earth. So, i.e., the amount of fossil fuels that we're putting out today equals the amount of people that we have on the earth. They lower the fossil fuels that we can use, the lower that the people on the earth will be. Now listen to this real quick. This is a quote from Mr. George Gammon. He says here, "The scary reality is that if this rhetoric continues, it could kill hundreds of millions of people." And he says, "I'm not being melodramatic. This is the cold, hard truth." And what he was talking about on that video is that during the COP27 or the COP27, they're talking about that they want to completely eliminate fossil fuels. Please do your own research so that you can understand what that means to you. However, in the shorter term, you must be preparing for what is going to be, in my opinion, the largest increases of the price of things, especially those things that you need to live. You see, you're going to see a deflationary crisis occur in things that you don't need. For example, used vehicles and new vehicles. Right now, used vehicles are being repossessed at a very large rate. Why? Because people are broke. They can't afford to continue to make the car payments. So you're going to see decreased prices in things like cars. The housing market is going to eventually greatly reduce from where it is now as interest rates continue to go up. You're going to see all of these gadgets that have been sitting offshore, for the last year and a half or so on barges waiting to make it into the United States. You're going to see all of these gadgets that we have a glut of, and you're seeing it now. Fill the shelves in your Walmarts, your Targets, your Costco's, etc. And you're going to see those being sold at a reduced price. However, you're going to see rice go up 100%. You're going to see the price of meat go up 50, 60, even 100%. You're going to see the price of flour. You're going to see the price of corn and things that corn is used to make. All of those things that you need to live is going to go up substantially. The price of electricity is going to double. If we're lucky, it will only double this coming year. The price of gasoline, in my opinion, and I hope that I am 100% wrong on this, in my opinion, by the end of 2023, the price of gasoline will be north of $10 per gallon US, right? And then the price of diesel and distillates such as will also be in the same range, if not higher. You have to understand that these people that are in COP27, their goal is to reduce fossil fuels to zero, therefore encouraging us to move to alternative energies. And the problem with that is that so far it's been proven that alternative energy does not work when it's most needed, meaning like during crises. And all you have to do is take a look at all of these countries that have tried to switch to nothing but solar and wind and see what they're doing now. They're using coal. Why? Because coal and fossil fuels, i.e. natural gas, oil, diesel, etc., propane, they are reliable. It means that if you have them, you can use them no matter what the situation may be. Let's say, for example, that you have a day that is not very sunny, but you're depending on solar power. How are you going to get energy? Well, with batteries. What if there's 2 days that it's not sunny? You know that you have that coal. You know that you have that oil. You know that you have that gas that you can rely on. It is stored BTU. All right, ladies and gentlemen? So it's been proven that these things don't work during crises. However, fossil fuels, they do work. Oh, AP, you just want to kill the planet. No, I just don't want people to die. That's it. Let me tell you what I think about alternative energies. I think it's great. I think we ought to find ways to better what we already have, to unleash new technology onto the world where we can have energy that's cheaper, that's cleaner, that's reliable. However, until we find that and we are able to sustain a system such as, we cannot let go of what we know currently works. Because the truth is that we don't only have till 2029. They've been telling us that there's a crisis after crisis after crisis for the last several decades. Let me go ahead and give you some numbers that I got out of the internet. Actually, someone else came up with these, but these are all factual. So here in the 1960s, we were being told as a world that oil would be gone within 10 years. So 1970 came and went, and here we are in 2022, and we still have oil. In 1970, they told us that we were going to enter into a new ice age within 10 years. Well, we're not iced over as a world, and from what I understand, an ice age is where the world gets iced over, and there's like glaciers all over the world, not supporting human life, really. Very small amount of human life can exist during that time. In the 1980s, we were told that acid rain will destroy all of the crops within 10 years. Well, we're still able to grow crops, ladies and gentlemen, as long as we have the tools necessary to grow them. That didn't occur. In the 1990s, we were told that the ozone layer would be destroyed within 10 years. The ozone layer is still here, although it's a little bit thinner because we're going through a grand solar minimum, and that affects the thickness of the ozone layer or magnetosphere. It's still here, and it is still protecting the Earth from cosmic rays and from solar radiation. In the 2000s, they told us that ice caps would be but gone. We still have ice caps. And you can go on and go on and go on, ladies and gentlemen. What is this? We are being told all of these things, and we've been told all of these things in order so that they can shape our thought. And they count on us forgetting all of these things that were supposed to come true and never did. I remember, I think it was in the late 1990s, where we were being told that by the year 2000, there would be no more snow. You got to be kidding me. So, because they're trying to progress their agenda forward more and more, they're like doubling down. Every time that you question these things, they double down. And who are they? The clowns. The people that want to rule every single person in the world and that want to have a say on everything that you can and can't do. And what amazes me is this. I believe that freedom is ingrained into the human DNA. I believe that. But what amazes me is that so many people fall for this and are so very willing to give up their freedoms for a falsehood that has been repeated over and over again, decade after decade after decade. It just goes to show that humanity is on a downward fall, and that before things get better, things are going to get a lot worse. You have to prepare for what's going to happen next winter and next year. We're only going into winter now, or at least the part of the world that I am in, right? We're only starting our winter, right? But we need to start preparing for next winter already. Why? Mainly because the price of everything that you need to live is going to go up substantially. Everything. So in my opinion, and this is my opinion, if you have excess wealth, meaning that if you have all of the preps that you can possibly have, that you can fit, and there's nowhere else that you can put these things. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, there is a difference between a prepper and a hoarder. A prepper prepares those things that they know they're going to use in the future, and they eventually use them, and they rotate their stock as their stocks start to run low. That's a prepper. You fill in your gaps once you have all that stuff. If you have excess wealth past all of the things that you need in order to live, get those things that you know you're going to need just to sustain your standard of living. And what I mean by that is this. Do your cars need tires? Do you have enough tires to get you through the next several years? Because this is going to be a very slow train. And it's going to catch you by surprise if you don't start to prepare today. The price of everything is about to start going up. And that's not me saying it. That's CEOs saying it. That's people that work in the food industry saying that there's already a 25% price increase in foods calculated into next year already. And we're only in November. And this was about a month ago. This is about a month old news. I'm not going to get into conspiracy theories as to why all of these things are happening. But ladies and gentlemen, what matters most is this, is are you going to be fed? Is your family going to be fed? Are you going to be warm? And so forth. Are you going to have those basic things that you need that would sustain life and your standard of living going forward? Because eventually, no matter how much money you have, I feel that it will be unavailable. Eventually, the world is going to cut us off. We, the United States of America, i.e. the government, right, has forsaken its people for world government. It has forsaken its people and the people of the world by abusing its power of holding the reserve currency of the world. And countries are sick of it. And they're lining up to join the BRICS nations in order to get away from our control of the Federal Reserve note, i.e. the world reserve currency. And we, the American people, and people that rely on the dollars, those are the people that are going to pay the price. It's definitely not going to be the politicians that put us in the predicament that we are currently facing. So protect yourself, ladies and gentlemen. That is the only way that we can preserve our nation, is to be able to prepare, stay prepared, and then be able to resist when the day comes. Because there will come a day, as I've often said, there will come a day when there is a fight. And we need to be ready for that date. I was very happy to read one article today. I'm not going to read off of it or anything, but it said that in the last 3 years or so, that the amount of preppers in the United States has risen from about 2% or so of the population to about 10%. And that is huge. That is huge. We need to make that 20% or 30%. And we need to do that in a hurry, because we are going to need all of the people that love this country to be prepared for what's coming. Not tomorrow or next month. We have to prepare for the incredible amount of inflationary prices that we're going to see at the store. But we also need to prepare for the years ahead, when it will be time for us to have to stand up to tyranny. Because that's what's going to happen. It's happened throughout history, right? When I speak these words, some people may say, oh, this guy is crazy. You know, this guy just wants war. No, it's the opposite of that. I don't want war. I don't want violence. But history teaches us that once a government gets so strong and so big, that it reverts to being tyrannical against its people. And if you've lived here in the United States, and heck, in most countries around the world, you will have learned that lesson in the last couple of years, when we were dealing with the health crisis. So prepare, ladies and gentlemen, because the time's going to come eventually. But prepare first and most to make sure that your family can sustain life and can sustain the standard of living that you're currently living. Having said that, I hope you have a great day. Don't let all of the rhetoric and the news and all that kind of stuff get you down. I'm not going to talk about the election, but it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anymore. What matters is that we're prepared. And what matters is that we can fight and be strong enough to fight when the day comes. Having said that, have a great day. God bless every one of you. And listen, thank you very much for all of your support. I love you guys. All right, so God bless you. Be safe and continue to prepare the best that you can.